Welcome back to Creative Exploration with Pers. I'm here with my friend Visual Frisson. We met in LA last year, I think. Yeah, at the SALT conference. And yeah, I've been a fan ever since I saw the stuff that you did for RL Grime back in the day, I believe it was.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was crazy stuff. If you guys haven't seen it, go look at Visual Frisson's Instagram, scroll back a ways. But yeah, man, welcome. Please introduce yourself to the people before I keep rambling.
Yeah, my name's David, but I go by Visual Frisson online. I started as a video editor, got into motion graphics, 3D animation, and then now kind of have been obsessed with AI for the past, I guess, 2-3 years now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been addictive. It's like,
yeah, it's hard not to be obsessed.
Out every week, so it's like you just gotta keep messing around with it. But it's been a fun ride so far.
Yeah. And yeah, man, you've always been on the forefront of this stuff, so that's cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I appreciate you having me on. I mean,
absolutely. You
guys are really, the MVPs that are just teaching everyone how to use all the stuff. Because yeah, it's something I couldn't do, but it's like it takes so much time and effort. So appreciate what you're doing.
I like having the platform to bring people on to do like these couple hours and just dive into stuff that they're interested for a little while. You don't have to do the whole tutorial thing, right? We just kind of hang out and make some stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
What have you been obsessed with lately? Maker, but... No worries.
I mean, recently sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. I was just going to ask what you've been up to lately.
Yeah, recently I've been getting into, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Hunyuan?
Hunyuan, yeah.
10-cent. Nice.
Video model, yeah.
Here, man, I just moved everything. I'll try to relink it, but
I know this.
I actually have, I have some of those for later in the stream, but let's see, they're actually right here. Doing a bunch of like arcane animations like this, which are like, to me, like crazy what it can.
Yeah, if you guys don't know what Hunyuan is, it's a state-of-the-art video model that you can use locally, but it also has LoRA fine-tuning, so you can fine-tune LoRAs on things like, this is the arcane one, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you can fine tune the state of the art video model at home, which is wild. Like it's this stuff's getting closer and closer to people being able to do it all at home. So yeah, man, that's the stuff you showed me the other night. It was just fantastic. It's super cool.
Yeah.
And for a video editor, how cool is it to be able to generate like 200 clips and then just start kicking?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what I'm doing. It's just like hundreds of clips, and then you just sort through, find the best ones, and then, just narrow it down, and then figure out what the story is after. I was like that. I do like the reverse. Just give me a ton of content, and then I'll figure out, what I want to make.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I work too. A lot of people start with a plan, not me. I like a folder full of stuff to mess with.
All right, I'll figure this later. Also, I've been going through a horrible process of replacing a drive that's failing. So,
yes,
that's probably what happened. So I probably got renamed somewhere. But it doesn't matter too much for this stream. Later, if we have time, I did want to go into like taking the initial Hunyuan clips, which, in my opinion, were almost not good enough. Like I was slightly disappointed. But then there is like a way where you can kind of up-res it and smooth it out and really improve things in After Effects.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's the post-processing part. I put in the thumbnail there. So it's like kind of like a 3-step process. Make the stuff, do something with it, and then post-process it. Or make the stuff, post-process it, and then edit it, whatever. But yeah, like a lot of this stuff doesn't look great right out of the diffusion engine, but using traditional tools you can really spruce it up.
Yep. And same with even this visual like coming out of the AI, it looks pretty good, but then if you can like just smooth out, the edges, and kind of what I've found it with AI is like if you can just hide the noticeable AI, imperfections, then like it's like a way smoother viewing experience.
Absolutely.
By the way, let me
and
know
like
if
we're also ultra attuned to all the AI artifacts and stuff. You just like they after you've done this for a while, they all stand out.
Yeah, let me try to get. Is this loud or is it even coming through?
The audio is not coming through, but I think I can fix that. Give me 1 sec.
Okay. I just don't want to blast you with.
Oh, it's okay. Hit play again.
Yep.
No, I'm not getting any audio. That's odd. Audio. Audio settings. You might have to reshare the screen with audio. I'm not sure how that works.
Let's see.
Just normal technical difficulties.
I don't know how to. It doesn't give me an option for it.
Okay. Oh, I think it might be working now. Nope.
Yes, no.
No. Yeah, it says you're not sending audio. I don't know why. Let's see. I wonder if you can share.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, that's odd.
1 second.
Sorry, guys. This stuff happens all the time when we're streaming.
Still nothing.
Let's try screen.
I have an audio output destination. I'm not sure what that should be.
Play that one more time. Oh, it's just not coming through. Yeah, it's not coming through the Video Ninja at all, so I don't think your machine's sending audio.
Okay.
Like the little audio thing is disabled in our thing.
Yeah, I'll take your advice on what's the best course of action. I think we could just go through and just make it less.
So if you stop sending your screen and then start sending it again, and just double check if there's an option for sending your audio as well. When you hit share screen, might be a checkbox or something. I haven't been on the other side of this, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no option.
All right. Well, maybe we'll just have to do this silently then.
Let me
just imagine there's audio.
Yeah, let me see if I can share. It doesn't even let me share Premiere for some reason. Oh, there we go. Try this. No. Still nothing.
No, still nothing.
Oh. Yeah, should have checked this. Oh well. I guess we can go through. I mean, you just have to imagine.
See if you can share through Discord as well. Maybe I can pull the audio through. It'll be delayed, but at least see if you can share your screen with Discord. You might not share both, but it might. Maybe you can share your screen with audio.
Let's see.
try and connect to that. All right, hit play. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay.
So the audio's working, but it might be out of sync for y'all on your end. So just imagine everything's happening when it's supposed to.
Really close. Okay. I guess we'll just jump in. We wasted enough time.
Hit it, baby.
Okay. So I guess, we'll start with, the first thing is we just need, a song. We're trying to make a visualizer. So went with some sweet royalty-free music this time. Peppermint tea. Pretty much what I want to do is I want to chop it up and figure out which section I want to use. So we'll make a new. So it's peppermint tea. And I know I just want to use 24 frames. Boom, we have new sequence. Bring it in. And I already went through and I'm like anal, so I have to put like markers on like the beat every time. So that way I know how to cut it up. And I guess now that we have sound coming through, is it loud? Should I turn it down?
Oh, I can handle that. Don't sweat it.
Okay. So I'm going to turn it a little down on my end just because it's loud for me. Let's see. So we want like a little bit of an intro, and we want to get into the drop fast. Pretty much we just want to cut out one of these beats. So cut that and put it here. It almost should work. So just a little finessing with a cross dissolve. Find the right time. And there we go. Now I got like a little 5-second intro. Drop right in. And then usually to go out of kind of the visual music, you just use the end of the song. It's usually like the perfect ending. The nice thing about making these markers is pretty much can just drag it right onto the beat, and without any finessing, pretty much works. Music is simple. And hopefully that makes sense. Pretty much these markers are on just every 4 beats, and they end up being measures.
Yeah.
Every 4 measures, it's gonna repeat. It's like kind of surprising how easy it all matches up, especially with the royalty free. Exactly. Quick math. Let's fade that out. Okay, so now we have an easy 20-25 second song. And what's nice now is, so I made this in Premiere, which the reason I like to use Adobe products, I know a lot of people are switching over, is I use After Effects pretty much on every project, and I love it. Premiere probably could be replaced by DaVinci, but the reason I like it is I can bring that sequence now into After Effects, and if I want to change, the song, I want to add a different part or anything, it'll automatically update. So now the first step, and I have to give a shout out to Pers and Midjourney Man MJ from the last stream when you guys made your visual and called it the Rorschach. Almost, it looked like a Rorschach. Ink blot. It reminded me that I made something similar to that a long time ago, and it made me think it'd be like the perfect audio reactive QR code, ControlNet.
Yeah.
So I have to give credit to you guys that I didn't think about even this concept until like a week ago when I watched the video.
It's always fun when you find a cool mask or an idea that's going to translate really well to the AI dreaming stuff thing.
And as we'll see, it's like really easy to make it audio reactive too, which should be cool. Okay. So here, we'll actually do everything from scratch. So we'll go to dynamic link, and you can import that sequence. So you just go So we just made this peppermint tea sequence. And just drag this into its own comp. So now we have...
I didn't even know you could do that.
Oh yeah, to import it straight in.
Yeah.
So yeah, now we have this exact, pretty much what's right here is now, yeah. And if like for, I mean, just that is, so if we do that, then we just hit save, automatically updates. So we could add like a new section or anything. Which is why I like, especially with editing, I'd say I like editing
a smart
the audio
object in Photoshop.
Exactly. And then yeah, if you're editing like a sequence or something, you can go back and forth pretty easily. Okay, so we have the song just raw, and then what we'll want to do is with all my projects make a song sequence now. Let's see. And this will add sound keys. Here, actually, it's going to be a lot slower if we do it that way. I'll just grab a song from this one. There we go.
So here you're using Red Giant's sound keys?
Yep. So here we'll simplify it. So we'll bring that song sequence in. Oops. And then, yeah, so this solid, so you make a solid and then you add sound keys. It's by Red Giant. It's super old. It might have been the first plugin that like I ever started messing around with in After Effects when I first started.
Yeah, same.
And yeah, they haven't improved it or updated it. It just has done exactly what you need it to do. And pretty much what it does is you take the audio layer, so we put it to our song layer, and all it is going to do is make this a waveform. Just shorten this sequence up. So it's going to make a waveform of the song, and all you want to do is draw boxes around kind of the values you want to capture. So this, I already done it already, but say we like move these wherever. So we'll play it. And I want to capture something for the bass, something for the highs, and then something in the middle. Usually the mids are kind of variable depending on the song. But we'll listen right now and we'll try to hear where the bass hits. So like I think I want this spot right here. Because that's right where the bass will come. We can kind of test it out by playing, and I'll see this line go up. And then same thing with a clap. So every time like there's a clap, it's like right there. So now we have like bass hits, the clap hits, and then the middle is just kind of, I think I tried to get that like bassy growl sound. So now that we pick those out, pretty much all my projects kind of that are audio reactive go back to just these three outputs. So it's like a bass output, a mids output, and a high output. And what we can do is, since we just picked those, all we do is hit apply.
This is the more visual way of doing it than like picking frequency ranges and applying thresholds until you get what you like, at least. Or you can visually see exactly where you want it to excite the values.
Yep. And I like it this way because you can literally, because it's hard. It's surprising how different every song is. Like where this clap isn't really normally here. Usually like the clap could be like over here. It's usually in the blues. And sometimes the bass is over here, but just tweaking the numbers, it would be very hard, I think, to get an accurate reading, but like this makes it super easy in my opinion. And then now we have keyframes for everything. So After Effects is just built off keyframes. I just scale all these up so they're all, values 0 to 100 to make it easier in my head. I'll know.
Manual normalizing.
Exactly. And then also, if you right click, so SoundKeys is a paid plugin. But if you don't want to pay for that, you want to mess around with kind of this audio reactive stuff first, you can right click your layer with the audio, and then keyframe assistant, convert audio to keyframes.
Yeah.
Bring up this audio amplitude. I just delete the right and left channels. But then it gives you like an overall, basis from the song.
Just volume to keyframes, basically.
Exactly. And there's a lot of things that I want just, the overall volume of the song.
As a controller.
Yeah. So later in the video, we'll get into like a lot of effects can use each one specifically. But for this audio reactive, like Rorschach visual, I just wanted something that used, because I need one value kind of control it. And what I ended up doing was I made these expressions. So in After Effects, you can kind of write expressions for anything you want to make. So now we have a number value of the bass, mids, and high. And then what do we want to do with those numbers? So like we can do whatever we want. In something that I've developed is it's nice to make it exponential. So that way it's just like when it really hits, it goes a lot faster and kind of looks better if it's exponentially changing versus linearly. If that makes sense. So yeah, I guess this is kind of confusing.
Just talking about the animation curve, basically. Like a linear curve is 1-to-1. Like it's exactly what you hear is what you get. But with exponential, it thresholds the curve a bit like an animation curve, so that the lower values stay low, the higher values are higher. So it's just it's like a ramp up to the thing instead of just a straight up like diagonal line. I'm trying to visualize this.
Exactly. And then, so what I learned before is I really like it when the bass, hits hard, the mids hit hard, but then the clap almost like stops what's happening, and it gives it like a little, like almost like sudden stop, and it's kind of interesting with that. Yeah. So the formula that I came up with was it'd be like bass squared. So okay, this might be confusing if you don't use expressions a lot, but here we'll write it from scratch.
Math.
Yeah. So I put a little slider expression here, and if you do alt click, now you can edit whatever you want this to be. So you set variables. So I'm going to set X variable to be the bass output. And remember, that's like 0 to 100. And then we can do like Y equals, and we'll do the mids output. Do Z equals, and that'll be the highest output. So now we got to think of like a formula that we want. And what I have found works is like you can go X times X plus Y times Y, and then minus Z times Z. So what we're getting is every time the bass hits, it goes forward, mids hit, goes forward, and then the highs hit, it pulls it back. This will give us a giant number. So we can look at the graph. So if you ever want to visualize it now we have this graph of numbers so this goes with the music. And then what I want to do is I want to normalize this back down to 1 to 100, just so it's easy to work with. So what I'll do is I set this to the variable B for some reason, but we can use expression called linear. And then what that does is going to ask for what variable you're talking about. So I have B, and when B is, you'll see at the peaks, it's about 15,000. So maybe we'll say like when it's 0 to 13,000, I want it to be 0 to 100. So it's just taking this crazy numbers that it came out with, which I'm only kind of going for the smoothness, like the curve of the flow. And then I just want to convert it to 0 to 100. And then what we get now is a nice, easy 0 to 100 that should represent the music.
Cool.
And then I made a similar one. And then this one is just taking the bass. This is a linear one instead. So it's the bass times 3 plus the mids plus the highs plus the overall amplitude. And then I also normalize that to 1 through 100. So hopefully that makes sense. But now we have these two kind of values that go along with the song that now we can use to create the animation, or to drive the animation.
Amazing.
Okay, so that's all. Hopefully the math that will get the technical part. I will say that before I did any of this, I was an actuarial science major. That's why I kind of like all these expressions.
Yeah, and
there's
tutorials on YouTube about After Effects expressions. So like if any of this was confusing and you want to learn it, go check those out, because they'll give you the basics of what we were talking about: linear, exponential, all the different curve types, all the different ways you can multiply and subtract, divide, add these numbers together to get answers like this. It's just a little bit of linear algebra, but you know, it's sounds scarier than it is. It's once you visualize it onto a curve, it all really starts to make sense really fast.
Yeah, I wanted to spend some time on that aspect because I'm hoping, you know, what I can give back to the community and kind of share is the audio reactive parts in After Effects. I think that is what I based a lot of my career around. And it's what I enjoy. But I'll try to speed things up a little bit so we can get through. But so now we want to make a Rorschach visual. And how we're going to do that is with a plugin called Particular. So Particular is just a particle generator. It has this very simple, you know, starting one, which is actually pretty similar to what we want. Pretty much we want just particles to now be flowing out of the middle and kind of go to the music. So we probably only need to change a few settings. We can change the particle, how many particles come out. Let's first change the size, just because that is what's noticeable, that it's definitely not enough, or not big enough. Let's see. Okay. Another thing we can do is we can bring this song comp that we made. So here are the two values that, you know, we're going to use. Okay, that's the thing. So for the size of the particle, we'll go, again, I just always go x equals, and then just grab this variable that we just made. Just so it's simple. Like, so now I know, now when I'm writing this, I just don't have to rewrite this long, crazy thing.
Yeah.
So now I just
let
know
the
it's
app
x.
do the work.
Exactly. So now I got to think of, I always use linear because it's so, you know, easy. Because it's linear, we take the variable x, which is, you know, that audio amplitude from 0 to 100 that we made. So when that goes 0 to 100, and now we pick two values for the size. So when the amplitude's 0, and then when the amplitude's high. So we could try maybe 15. Actually, no, it'd probably be 40, maybe 100, something like that. Oh, and let's take this feather off. And now we can see we have way too many particles. Okay, so now the particles are bigger. But let's now do the same thing. how many particles are coming out. So that's 0 to 100. Let's see. Let's think.
67 million.
Yeah, if we want to crash my computer.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder what it could get. I did a couple videos back in the day where I had this idea where you could put an input video and then use that to drive particular or particle. And then it was like, I swear it was like 1 million particles. I'm surprised it ran. But let's just do, let's see.
Why is my computer so hot?
Yeah. I was like a tiny little particles. I just wanted to look like almost smoke was coming off the video. All right, so we're getting closer. Oh yeah, I forgot. Let's bring in the song. So let's just trim this down.
Keep kicking. I'm going to grab a drink. I'll be right back.
All right. Okay. So now what we definitely have to change is the velocity of the particles coming out. Probably have them the right size. Let's see. Just copy this, put it in the velocity. And then what's a good velocity? Let's think. All right, let's get in there. Definitely need to, the life has to be longer because they're coming off while on screen. And then what the velocity will do is it's how fast they're going to shoot out from the middle, which is good because we want the velocities variable and changing. So we can actually change the velocity random up to maybe 80. We can do the same thing for the size random. All right, throw it up to 80 to add more, variation. What really is going to do it is this. See, there's physics model, and what we can do is we can do physics like time factor, I think it's called. And this will change just the speed. So this is kind of probably what does most of the work, is how fast time is moving based on the music.
Oh, that's how you get that time. What do you call it?
Exactly.
Speed ramp.
Yep. So this will do probably most of the work. We definitely want the size changing and how much particles are coming out, and the velocity does help change it. But then, so it seems like they're not exactly the same velocity, but this should do most of the work. Let's see.
Nice.
And then and I mean, even right here we have pretty good. You always kind of want like half and half. But I think it's close enough. But then, so now we have kind of uniform circles. It's like very just plain looking. But what we can do is, because we want it to look more liquidy, and to do that, we can do a simple trick of just blurring it. Is that not how you spell it? Just blurring it, and then what happens is it's blending things together, but we have this horrible feather that we don't want. And since we're just working in black and white, what we can do, at least I thought we could, I ran into this last night. It will cheat and go back. See what I used. It is the same.
Oh, you're using the alpha channel. Not
that's what it is.
Yeah.
I was like, I ran into this last night and couldn't figure it out. Okay, that makes more sense. So yeah, now we can bring this down.
Oh yeah.
Getting a much more liquid.
Get fuzzy edges, but clean insides.
Yeah. And it just like blends it together when they like hit each other. And there we go. We got much more liquidy vibe to it. And then like Rorschach. And technically you could probably put this all on the same solid, the way After Effects works. You can just keep packing it in. But I like just building a lot of layers and adjustment layers, that way I can really customize things. But we'll just add a simple mirror. Put this in the middle. I think we're almost there. Just
love that mirror. Immediate symmetry.
Yeah. And so now we have, the base animation pretty much. This is like the audio reactive part, and now we'll just figure out how to make it look a little bit more like the Rorschach.
Yeah.
So this will be effects. So pretty much right now it's just white blobs on nothing. So we'll put a little black solid in back. So that way we can add invert. Simple invert. And then we're getting closer. It's looking cool. And then the real solution is there's a plugin called Heatwave, also by Red Giant. I use a lot of Red Giant plugins. And this will add a bunch of variation. So it's asymmetrical. It'll add blur. It'll add a little bit of distortion. It's pretty much used if you ever had like fire and you just want to make it look like the fire's distorting the view of something. That's what Heatwave does. But then we can just crank it up. We'll add like a bunch of them. So it's already making it asymmetrical and adding like a little blur. It's nice. But we'll duplicate this a bunch of times, and we'll add the ridged one.
Oh, nice. So it gives it a little detail on the edges and stuff.
Yeah, and then it kind of looks like it's like a little on paper almost. And it's adding it just like a little bit extra. So now we're getting much more like somewhat asymmetrical, because all those ink blots aren't like perfect. So like it looks different on each side. I think we might just have to zoom this in because it messes up the edges slightly. So we'll add just a zoom and just like an easy transform. Can just do like the scale over the top.
Right on.
All right. So now we're good to go. I mean, that's kind of is like cool on its own. But we'll make it even cooler. After Effects. Yeah. So cool, and it's about like 50-50 is what I wanted. Oh, now I remember what I did, because I was like, it's a little bit too much black, especially in the middle. And the reason obviously is because the particles are coming out from the middle, but the outsides are fine. What you can do in particular is you can set up something to block, let's see, visibility, block some of the particles. So what I did was set up a solid. Oh shoot. Oh yeah, there we go. And we can use this layer, gotta make it 3D layer, to block some of the particles. So if we use that block, so right now that's at like Z space, it's at 0. So right now it's blocking all the particles that are going backwards.
Okay.
And then it's only like you can only see the particles in front of it.
Right.
And then, but what we can do is then we can add a circle mask. Oops. Onto the wrong layer. to that block. And what? Hopefully we can see it. And hopefully. So what's happening is it's blocking it, so we can kind of make it a little bigger, and it kind of cuts out like a decent amount. So now we have, they'll kind of show up, which is kind of nice. It adds like a little bit more abstraction. They're coming in, but then it adds like a little bit more of a balance between the middle and the outside.
You don't get such big goopy blobs.
Yeah, so it's blocking the ones going backwards in the middle, but then they kind of show up. It kind of makes it interesting, I guess. But it's weirdly, the mask I don't think is working. Whatever. It's fine for what we're working with. So I guess we can set this up to render. We'll go straight to media encoder because or we can just do it in here. Actually, we need to do it here anyway. Just do MP4. Oh, After Effects. Why? Okay, input. Do ink animation 3. See how slow this goes. Okay, so now I guess you actually get to the AI part on the AI stream. Okay, so this
we do all the tools here, baby.
Yeah, nice. So pretty much what I use and what I've been messing around with is a workflow based off of Jan's audio reactive workflow, which in my opinion has been amazing. It's been like a huge step into a direction of me seeing that audio reactive tools in Comfy is possible. Up until now, I kind of was hesitant to get into it, but just this simple IPAdapter, workflow, but like these nodes of analyzing the audio and then like finding the peaks, I think are super interesting. And even with some tweaking, like it'd be interesting to see what we can get to control them. Like it'd be interesting to see a day where you could plug in like the audio amplitude into any strength input somehow.
Ryan on the inside has a whole node pack for that.
Okay.
They're called flex features,
crazy.
and you can basically plug anything into anything. It's really cool.
That's so cool.
You just released version 2, actually.
Yeah.
Guys, go get that. It's
okay, yeah, I gotta check it out. Because I know you can do whatever this latent like keyframe override is. So for the control nets, you can do it because there's whatever this node is, where it can take the audio weights and then output like a latent keyframe matrix. I guess it's like a value for each frame.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, the basis of this workflow, if you haven't used it, is you can import a bunch of images. It'll bring those in and process the audio. It'll see all the peaks, and every time there's a peak, which you can use the drums, the full audio, bass. It's nice, you can separate it. And then switch to the next IPAdapter. So what happens is I haven't used it too much, to really change the visual, but it's just like subtly, changing. Like the colors will be changing, the style will be changing a little bit, and really helps just with the audio reactivity. And then he also uses a ControlNet in this case of like this circle moving out, which kind of adds some variation. So pretty much what I did for mine is, instead of us inputting 4 images, I made it take, what is this, like 32 random images from a folder that I have. I can pull this up. So I have like all these reference image folders. But perfect timing. So I just have a folder of 60 images, and it's just all these kind of organic type liquidy, colorful stuff. And what's happening is it'll just go into that folder and then generate 30, 32, take all those, and then in order they'll just cycle through to the music. The other thing I did was add an input video, because we'll obviously, we'll be wanting to import this. So we'll get Ink Animation 3, which we just made. Since this video has the music on it, which is perfect, we can just pipe the audio straight into the audio analysis node. You just pipe in the frame rate, so that way, we'll only generate the frames we need.
Yeah.
And then what's happening is this image is then going into, I'm using soft edge ControlNet.
Mm-hmm.
Is I kind of just want, the general shape. It doesn't have to be, too perfect or anything. And then feeding that into this. Here, let me delete this. That's distracting. It's QR code ControlNet. So which is doing most of the work. It's real strong. So it's like all the way up to 1 strength, and then 0.9 it ends. And that's probably going to give us, most of the look that we're going for. I'm trying to think.
That's crazy.
If there's anything else. I also kind of put these both on all my workflows, where this will be like if I'm working with one video, and this will be, say, I've edited, a minute long video or something. I don't want to run the full minute. So I chop it up into sections,
mm-hmm.
and then I can put, all those sections into a folder and then run this, and it'll just keep grabbing the next video to run in the workflow. It's kind of just like a batch.
Where your cuts are actually where you want them.
Exactly. Yeah. And then that way I'll go back through and I'll just run this overnight, and I'll have maybe like 8 versions of each shot, and I can pick whichever best one came out.
Very cool.
And then there's an upscale, but I haven't had much luck with it, and to be honest, I just like doing it. I'm a SD 1.5 and low res type guy.
Yeah, me too.
I'll figure it out after the fact how to.
Topaz does a pretty good job if your first run is nice.
Mm-hmm. But I guess we'll hit Q. We'll see what breaks. And then as the things pop up, I'll kind of show you, because these nodes are really cool. They show the audio graph, so you can like visually. Actually, that's what I remember. Let's go in here. I picked this song because I want to save time, and it will repeat. So we only have to do half of this. If you notice, like you listen, this section is probably the same exact thing as this section. So we can get away with probably just running it until here, which is like 323.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we'll do is we'll just double it up, and then in After Effects, when we add audio reactive effects, you won't even notice. I don't know if you guys noticed in the sample video, it's just the same.
Yeah, I do that too. Just chop it and run it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I almost forgot in After Effects. We could do text. Forgot we did like the pers thing.
Oh yeah.
We'll gloss over that real quick. But because it'll help the beginning, because right now in the beginning it's like pretty boring. But let's see how we did that. We'll just take this text thing I already made and pop it. Pretty much all this is I made whatever text. We can change this So whatever we want. I don't know if there's something else you want to put there. Proof of concept, but
that's fine.
Buy
Solana meme coins. Not really. No.
There we go. What is this CSC? It's proof of concept. Then we can put like anything.
So
yeah. And then I'll just fade in. Yeah.
It looks great with that Heatwave plugin distorting it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like just enough. And then it's found like a perfect spot to cut it out. So that's how we edit text for some.
Yeah.
Like whenever I'm using here, we'll switch back to this first one so we don't have to render it out again. But I think that's something with me with AI. It's like I do a lot of like small experiments, but to me, it's like if I have a new tool or something, like I have to like figure out like a concept video, like from like start to finish. Of like I like having this intro and then like outro, and it's like it feels like a complete piece. And then it helps with the drop too. Like it really, if you have some like weird teaser thing in the beginning, and then you just like cut it off at the end. Just slam your logo. Okay, we'll run this real quick. I'll see what pops up.
Or just cut together 20, 10-second long slow panning clips from Runway and call it a short film.
Yeah, short film.
Check out my short film, guys.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, we'll see where we go.
That's why I think my point is more you get out what you put in, right? Like if you spend the time on the stuff you're about to process, then your final result's going to be better. And then you can still edit after too. You don't have to do all the editing on the way in either.
Yeah. All right, perfect. So so process the audio. It pretty much has this threshold of 0.5. So it pretty much means like in the beginning there really was nothing that, crossed that threshold. But now it kind of probably hits, every time like the bass hits. And what these plugins are doing is it's taking those highs and now it's making a marker where it's like detecting each peak. So it detected all these peaks, and what it's going to do then is change between IPAdapter images. So loaded these 35 and it's going to like switch from one to the next as the bass hits. I don't have to probably watch this whole thing. Yeah, we can jump back into After Effects. But I didn't know how much you wanted the AI.
No, that's fine. Yeah, just so it'll do the render, which takes forever, so we won't show that, but we can take this clip back into After Effects and start showing you guys the post-processing. But yeah, this part takes a while, even on a 4090. But that's the AI part, right? It just is what it is.
Yep. So
I just hit fast forward. And here we are back in After Effects with our finished clip.
So now we go to Premiere because I'm like, so it's like I want to, if I edit anything together, like the clips, I don't want to do it in After Effects.
Yes, it's true. So, After Effects is not great for editing video. And if you pay for the Adobe Creative Suite, you might as well use the Adobe Creative Suite.
Yep, exactly. I'm sure you could. I'm sure this is like a really easy use case, but this will also show why that dynamic link is so nice. Because now we're going back into the same sequence we edited the song that's already in our After Effects comp, and now we can take this render. Also this first frame sucks, so we're gonna just replace that over. So now I have this and it looks cool, but now we want to repeat it somehow. So I put markers on here so I can see where in the song that is. So we just got to line these up. So now we have two clips, they line up to the song. We just have to figure out the spot to change it. And we know this is going to be a big hit, so probably pick there.
Nice.
Let's see. I think that works. Looks a little weird, but forget what I did last time. It'll be fine. Just put a little crosses off. Still looks really weird. Whatever. We'll just leave it right there. See how it goes. And so if I change anything in here, then I just, save, go back into After Effects. And so now we have that in After Effects. And now it's the fun part. Now we have same sound keys, set up. We have the bass, mids, highs. And now we can, let creativity reign, and we'll see, what we can come up with. So this is pretty much the raw video. Can actually maybe color correct it real quick. Just lower it slightly, because we'll add a bunch of blow and stuff on top, so we don't want to blow it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of stuff that comes out of Comfy, like AI stuff, the blacks are actually gray. So it's not a bad idea to crush the blacks down when you bring it back into the editing software.
Exactly.
Try to get that contrast back.
Yep. And I think another takeaway with After Effects that I like is just order of operations. I love it because you can pre-comp everything. So in the last ones, we made the liquid part, and then we made it look like a Rorschach bot, and you kind of can compartmentalize those things. So right now we just have, input video, and let's think of what would be fun. So I think what I love here, actually, let's just rename this. Video feed. So what I like messing around with is splitting this into it's RGB. So we can do this a million different ways. But there's a channel mixer, so we can make this. So that's red. Copy, paste. Make this green. One day, the next thing I want to learn is using ChatGPT to write script file. So I could just click one button and it'll do this for me. That'll be the dream.
Yeah, I'm sure it can handle it.
Yeah.
Especially if you give it examples, right?
Yep. Pretty much what we did was, so now we split out all the colors, and what we can do, I was just putting black solid back just in case, but you can put all these to add, and we're right back to where we started. What we can do is, so make a solid that we won't use for anything else except for offset. And now we'll have a slider control. So now, again, what I'm thinking, we can, change the frame time of the red and probably the blue. That way, when the bass hits, the colors will get offset in time. You can also maybe put a twitch effect, so it will shake. But we'll see what both those look like. So if we do this as frame offset, and so this is where we're going to think. So we want it to be 1 or 2 frames offset whenever the bass hits. So we'll go into this expression, and we'll take, again, x equals, and we'll take this bass. So the output 1, that's the bass. So remember, now we have a bass output from 0 to 100 of one of the basses. So we use our linear expression again. We can go, 100. Well, here we'll go 50 to 100. So that way it's only when the bass really hits. And we'll go 0 to, so you got to remember that in time it's divided by 24. So we'll see what 1 frame looks like. That's like 1 over 24. It's 24 frames a second. So now we just have this random slider that, just pops up whenever the bass hits. What we can do is now we can go into the red channel. We go time remapping. And again, alt click. And so now we have time remap. And all you have to do is go plus this frame offset. And it didn't do anything. One sec. Oh, that's good. Okay. Oh, it is working, just not enough. Okay, there we go. So now offset by 1 frame in time. And then if we want to get really crazy, we could take the blue and go minus a frame. So this go back in time. That like sounds horrible. What the hell?
Is the audio tied to any of those channels, maybe?
Oh yeah. I was like, what the okay, yeah, that's why we'll bring the song
it needs
in
to be on
here
its own layer,
yeah. I was like, that makes sense.
Just pulling the needle back on the record.
Yeah, I was like, that can't be. Okay. It is a bit much. See. So, but the nice thing about, again, I could have put this all in this time revamping expression, but the nice thing about having it separate in this own expression that it's referencing is like these two values are referencing one thing. So now I can go back and, like change it a little bit if I want to tone it down. And then we get a much, like milder one where this is only 1 frame. And I can, change it 1 spot versus 2.
Yeah.
We also could do, I just want to see, what if we added a twitch to this? Go slide. Maybe 10. And then do this twitch amount. So we go right back to the base. And I don't think I'll use this, but just to show you guys another cool thing with the RGB. Here, we can. I don't know if you can really see, but so you could have just like the red channel moving. That's probably like way too much. So in theory, it's like the sky's the limit then in After Effects, where
it's
like
keep stacking stuff.
Yeah, we have the music in there, and now it's just like ultimate creativity of, do I want to offset in time? Do I want to wiggle? Do I want to like blur? And then you just like keep going. Like, let's see. Another easy one I always like to do is you put like a basic flicker, which is just, black solid. But then I can tie the opacity to the overall amplitude.
Right.
And then when the song is really low, like 0 to 25, go 0 to 100. And the nice thing about After Effects, you can always hit this graph icon,
to visualize,
and you'll be able
to
see. And so it kind of messed up in the beginning.
Yeah, because it's quiet at the beginning.
Yeah, which I'll just bring this down for a second. And I'll just manually raise. It'd be nice if it, goes in like one frame. That's the other thing. It's nice that we can manually change that. So add just like flicker, which sometimes can be annoying, but then it just feels like it easily goes to the music.
Yeah.
Especially here, like
negative space is just as important as positive space. It's good to cut it sometimes.
Yep. And even here, like where we put that cut, it helps, trick the eye because you almost don't think about it. To add just like a little thing before him. Let's see. What else can we add? Let's add. I think I had this on. Just like a deep glow. Also, paid plugin, which I think is for sure worth it. But you turn it down like crazy. And then so this I want, when the bass hits, but then I want to strobe. So to do that, I could just make this slider effect where all I want it to do is go from 0 to 1, like back and forth, and that's it. Oops. So we'll put 0, go 1. It's like look really close at this. And then we'll go back to 0. And if you write this simple loop out expression, all it is just gonna repeat forever. We have 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. And what we can do with that is we can take this glow now, and again, everything's x equals. We go to the base, and now when base is 0 to 100, we want this value to be up to 100, but then we'll multiply it by that strobe, right? And now if we look at it, going to base it. I think it's working. Well, it's hard to tell. Just add like 100 effects and then hope it works.
Yeah. And the faster your computer, the more real-time response you get.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to overload effects with After Effects, but it is possible to render stuff as you go to almost freeze it. So if you find like your output's too skippy to get a good idea of what you're doing, you can always freeze your comp and then add the effects to that frozen comp. And, it's like audio, like bouncing tracks,
Oh, I didn't even know that. You can
can render in place. Yeah, you can render in place and then just work off that comp as the proxy comp.
That's smart.
Because some of these effects are heavy, like when you get into like data moshing, and like dithering, and all kinds of the VHS stuff. All the fun effects are really heavy on your GPU.
Oh, for sure. And then eventually once you get to kind of a base, now I want to do an effect where I technically screen this whole comp over the top of each other. So now I'll make a brand new comp out of that to be able to do that. And then also what I'll do is I'll add a zoom and a shake. So pretty much what we can do is to make like a physical reaction to the music is we can add a twitch, which we just want it to just physically like shake, vibrate almost to when the music hits. And we'll do the same thing where we'll turn this up probably pretty high. So it's only when it's going 70 to 100. And then we'll also add a transform. We can add like a zoom. And what this will do is it'll zoom in when like the bass hits. And then, so this is another trick. So with the zoom, I don't want it to be like linear where it just seems like it's just going in and out. I want it to be exponential, so it really, gets like a little rubber band. And in this case, then I can just add an extra layer where I go y equals this value where it's 0 to 4, but then I want y times y. So pretty much what we're getting is 0 to 16, but it's exponentially scaling 0 to 16. And then, so now we just get these moments of where it's like twitching and also scaling up. That twitch is too much. And yeah, After Effects is slow, so it's a lot of trial and error. Sitting at your computer, RAM previewing everything. And then I can duplicate this. And what's nice is then the twitch will be separate it'll be different on this one.
Right.
So they'll separate, and then I'll have this one only show up like maybe, so I go to the amplitude of the full song, maybe 70 to 100. And if we screen this, so this is where I might go back to the curves and lower it a little bit if this blows it out. But we can screen this over the top, and I'll add, just brightness to those hits. Yeah, where it's getting blown out. But what we can do is go back. This adds like, just a pop of brightness on the beat. But again, the sky's the limit. Like I usually sit here for hours and, try to think, what would be cool?
Yeah, you want it to be dynamic, but you don't want it to look like baby's first render either.
Exactly.
There's a fine line between tasteful and oh yeah, I just got After Effects.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why I like the audio reactive effects is you can make it so it's so subtle that you watch it and it feels like it's just going in the music, so it doesn't really feel like, oh, I put all these effects on it, just like it's just happening,
Yeah, because like all effects at 100 the whole time look silly, but just little bits and pieces subtly looks amazing.
And then I think we could go forever with this. I don't know how boring it is, but I will say one thing I would say is, like, say we go to, I usually could go, if we go back to the original, it's not open in here, but I probably have, it could be like 6, 7 pre-comps going all the way down to my final render. Let's say we just go to what I would consider, final render. So this is what we have everything done, and I just want to add, the finishing looks, and I kind of have similar things where it's mostly color correction. Where I'll plug in a lot of Red Giant to one called Finisher, which just adds like a little contrast, and it's like a sharpener. Pretty much that's all it is. Contrast and sharpening. And it's like very just subtle. And then let's see what else.
Maybe add some green or something.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll add a look. So I'll write all these out first. Deep glow. And yeah, green. And that's usually what I go to. So I use FilmConvert nitrate, which is like my favorite. And then usually just turn these down. So we want the same color and Luma. We'll change that separately if we need to, but it adds a little bit of green. You can go small. You can bring the size up if you really, want it. Then it starts looking, I don't know how to describe it, just like
filmy.
Yeah. And just starts to blend a little bit together. Cool. And it just helps with the AI, I think, too, that it smooths out.
You don't get that fine detail with AI. So adding it later is nice. Like the fine grain.
Yeah. And I always like deep glow. It's always way too high to start. But it put like the threshold up high and it's still way too high. It just adds a little bit of glow onto certain aspects. So it gives it, a glow obviously, but it just blends it, like the overlap I just really like from the light to the dark areas.
Helps with the contrast.
And then let's see. Other things, I like adding vignette to everything. So I do it just the old school way of making black solid and then inverting it, feathering this out, probably putting the opacity down. It's not like 20. I'll make 1 multiply 1 overlay. And then just a very, subtle, but it just brings the eye into the center a little bit. And just makes the colors darker. What else? What I did, think of this one. I did add a looks and added a bunch of kind of random, light effects. I wouldn't be surprised, if this looks bad because we're, running through it. I will say, I always like run through all this, then render it out, and then I'm always like tweaking it from there.
Yeah,
because it's like hard to get it right. But we'll add diffusion, which I love. Just softens everything up. Turn this down for sure. Chromatic aberration, just so it's imperfect. Let's see what else. This is like when it's like, oh, just add all the effects. It's like edge, softness. And I'm not saying any of this is right or wrong, but I always just love.
Yeah, this is all personal.
Play around forever. Yeah,
this is all how you do what you want, kind of thing.
And I always love going off of. I go way too far, and it's easier to like pull back and see what is working and what's not working than, try to just get it right. Yeah, exactly. Add that, and it's for no reason. And we'll see how that looks. And then, so if we look at it, this is original, which looks good, I think. It's fine. And this just, I don't know, just blends it together, in my opinion, of like, but it's all personal preference.
Yeah.
Just, I love when, the glow and like the colors can interact with each other. Like, so this, whatever colors here is now interacting with the dark spots and it's all like overlapping with each other.
Looks cool.
And then, let's see. Usually by this time, it doesn't play good at all, but we'll get a little bit to look at.
You kind of needle drop around and get an idea.
Yeah. You can kind of see I do like everything, but the Twitch I don't like. We'll just take it off. We don't need it. Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. Oh, and then yeah, I forgot, of course. Gotta add your logo, mic drop. Oh, I don't have it in the sequence, but yeah. But normally you just put video by visual Frisson.
Yeah, you cut the black and throw your logo in on the next beat or something.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah,
let people know who made it.
Yeah. That's another funny thing about the AI community, where it's like I say some of my most popular videos obviously, just get ripped and then put up. But I still refuse. I hate putting a watermark on the videos. And it's like whatever. They rip it, my work does get out there, and then I'll put my name at the end.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. Yeah, up to you. I could go on forever adding effects. Otherwise, we can talk about something else, or I can go into that kind of. Actually, we can even probably do it in this one thing. We'll bring those clips. Bring it right. The first crash of the day.
Hope you saved it.
Yeah. I didn't, but I have autosave. Let's see. I've been there though. The worst is in Premiere, it makes you save a project when you open it, and I always hate it because sometimes I open it and I just want to edit two things together and render it. I don't want a project. But then in After Effects, I do the same thing where I'll open it, be like, oh, I just want to test this one thing out, and then end up sitting there for half hour making something and never even saved the project from the beginning. So then there is no autosave. And so
I know, I've been there a million times.
It's so probably it save you if it just forces you to save. But yeah, even if this doesn't save, we can just close it anyways.
Yeah, that's the process. Got all the important stuff.
Yeah.
No, that was amazing, man. A lot of sauce there, especially with the linear expressions and stuff, the linear and exponential expressions.
Yeah.
And I think get used to that format, just thinking about things in terms of thresholds really helps.
Mm-hmm. And that anything in After Effects is keyframeable. So it's everything is audio reactive. Anything, the sky is the limit. You could tie whatever you want to those, audio values. That's why I think, at the end of the day, After Effects is my favorite program to use, because if you're into audio reactive stuff, it's you can do whatever you want. And I'll say, I do love Comfy, but I do respect that. I still love, using Premiere, what it's good for, using After Effects, what it's good for.
Oh yeah,
and then having the balance job, back and forth.
Yeah. Plus, having real time feedback on what you're working on is vital. Comfy is more of a thing processor. It's a batch processor of things, and so trying to do everything in Comfy is kind of, you're working against yourself.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to explain to someone. That was just a automation tool.
Yeah.
And one day I just needed all I needed to do was rotate images and then save it. And I was like, oh, I could just do that super easy and comfy with like 2 nodes and then batch process all these images to just rotate and save.
Yeah, like it's at the end of the day, it's a Python workflow Python workflow automation tool. We've just kind of co-opted it as an art making device.
Exactly. All right, so this was kind of my other example with Hunyan, or just like in AI in general, where I'm not sure how this would come through the stream. But like, I was nervous that it wasn't going to be like good enough quality to even make something. I got nervous at first because it had, a lot of artifacting and things, and it's fairly low quality. Picking a subject matter, I think, is very important. Like, I love, doing fire, and you saw my the music video using Runway, and it helps, smooth things out because it can be a little bit more abstract. But then, so upscaling gets you a long way, obviously. It makes it way sharper, and this is with Topaz. But it still, has just like AI shapes.
Yeah.
All I can explain it as just like only AI shapes. Like, no one would draw it like that, in my opinion. But then say we put some of these like layers over the top where it's fire, so I can get away with using that Heatwave plugin again. So just like blur and warp things, so now your eye isn't looking at it. And then I can add that looks again with the diffusion and like the flares. So now we're getting interaction between these light parts, and they're going over different parts of the image, and it's like hiding things. And we can add glow, and then add the grain on top, and then some extra curves. And now what we get is like, instead of like this image, we get something like this, that
much more dynamic.
Yeah, I'm not like thinking about it that it's AI anymore, because I know AI can't do these glow effects and the grain, that it now has, maybe not think about it like it's like an AI video.
Yeah,
but
we're just back to looking at cool stuff.
That's my 2 cents on it. Like, I want everyone to hope everyone jumps into After Effects and learns that there's so many like cool tools, and like not only audio director stuff, but like finishing stuff. Like, I'm like the person that knows more about After Effects, so I'll edit an image in After Effects instead of Photoshop sometimes, because I just know.
But you have access to different plugins, different things, and you have
exactly, yeah.
So yeah, that's another thing. I blew somebody's mind once when I said, you can always just take that image into After Effects and edit it, and they were like,
"Yeah,
I never thought about doing a still image," but it's like, yeah, I mean, it's all there. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Have all my plugins. I know my workflow, make it look good.
Yeah, right. And then as you go on, you can build these sort of pipelines out as little projects you can drop stuff into, and then like turn the layers on and off, and build yourself your own little visual lookbook that you can process your stuff with. So like this stuff is all modular, and you can move it from project to project as well, which is super powerful for compositing and VFX. And like developing your own style, basically.
That's exactly what I would say all my videos are. I have like project files I made, I'm trying to even think when. It's like years, like 6, 7, 8 years maybe. And I'll still go back to it because it has the setup that I want. And then I'll just gut it and put in the new video input, replace the sound keys. And then everything, is set up as like a template, and then I'll tweak it for what I need. So that's why I was wondering how the stream was going to go, like doing it from scratch, because I haven't done it from like scratch in a long time.
It's good to remember too. It's good to go back and be able to show people how to do it, because it really solidifies it in your own head for the next time you need to do that, or help somebody with something.
That's why I love watching your streams, because in Comfy, I'm like the person where it's like, oh, let me just look for a workflow just to put in, and then I'll edit it. But just to be able to understand, starting from scratch is like way more helpful to like get it. And I think that's important in Comfy because there's a million ways you can go about it.
Yeah, Comfy's interesting because it forces you to learn the diffusion pipeline. Like if you want to actually do stuff with it. So yeah, it's a cool. It's a different approach, but it's a very interesting approach for sure.
Nice.
Right on, man. Well, thank you so much. This was perfect. We've gone about an hour and a half on this stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. How long?
No,
couldn't remember how long the streams go.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But,
do you have any events or anything, any drops, anything coming up soon that you want to tell the people about before we head out? Yeah,
not too much.
You working on any projects, or you got any music videos on the way, or?
Not much right now. I'm on paternal leave.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, but I'll go back to work soon.
Right on.
And then I think this year will be pretty big for AI projects coming down the pipeline.
Hell yeah.
And it should be a good year. Now I'm on the East Coast with you. Or close by. I don't know if you consider Toronto East Coast.
Yeah, we're pretty East
Coast.
Close enough. New York time. And exactly. I'm gonna put all of Frisson's socials links and stuff in the description below, so go follow him on everything and enjoy the fantastic content.
I'd say Instagram is what I'm on most, just because that's where I can post the videos, and that's the main thing I use.
And they look better than Twitter.
yeah, Twitter, I'll post it there, but then it's like I don't really know how to engage with what I'm supposed to do on Twitter. It's like too chaotic for me.
Gotta be a reply guy.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience for that either.
Yeah.
I try to reply, but it's hard.
Yeah. It's almost too much to deal with. But I really gotta get it is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I've heard that's where you gotta I always thought it was the last thing I would do, but probably is the most professional thing to do if I'm, looking for a career.
No, LinkedIn is good. There's a lot of really cool people posting a lot of really cool stuff on LinkedIn. There's also a lot of very out of touch people regurgitating information on LinkedIn. So you take the good with the bad. I've met some really cool people through LinkedIn in the AI space as well. So it's definitely a good place to at least cross post your content and just talk about the process a bit, because LinkedIn's more about the process of things than just showing off clips and stuff. But it's all different ways to skin a cat. There's many ways to skin a cat.
Exactly.
Ew. Right on. Well, thanks a lot.
Awesome.
I appreciate it, man. And we'll do this again soon. This was really fun.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks everybody for hanging out. And you're already on the Patreon, so I don't have to tell you to do that anymore. But follow Visual Frisson on Instagram and Threads and all the other places. And follow me too. And we'll see y'all next week. My guest is, I usually write this down.
Isn't it like Shane?
It might be Shane. Shane.
Dude. Yeah, I looked up, man. I had to go before him. I'm so looking forward to the stream.
Shane just did a Coldplay video.
Yeah, I was like, man, it's gonna put me to shame. But
no, Shane's cool, man. He's I got to meet him in Japan finally, and we hung out quite a bit. He's a very interesting cat. Yes, Shane F3D is my next guest. That's January 30th. So we'll be back next week with Shane, and then the week after that will be Lovis, who is a very interesting Comfy developer and workflow guy. And then I think the 16th is Cryptonatrix. The 20th will be Nathan Bowie. 28th will be Make It Rad. And then March 6th will be Joviex. And March 13th will be my friend Tenzia, who's a fantastic artist and musician.
Nice.
So we got some real bangers coming up, everybody. So come on back every week for a different hang session with another fantastically talented artist. And
that's a sick lineup. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so many talented people in this space. We got to get them all on the stream.
Yeah. Thanks for putting these together. I mean, it's awesome being on, but I mean, it's amazing having these to go watch too.
Hell yeah. Well, thanks again, buddy, and have a great night, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. I know there's still a day of work left, but Fridays don't count, right? All right. Take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.